Hey everyone, in this video I'd like to talk about how to write the equation of a line. Now there are a couple of different ways we can do this, and we have a couple of different forms of lines that we can use. So what I'd like to do is just talk about the two forms that we use the most often, and then go through a couple examples just to talk through the process. So the two forms that we use most often to write the equation of a line are point-slope form and slope-intercept form. Now, in both cases, we basically need two pieces of information to define our line. We need a slope, and we need one point on that line. Now, the point differs for each of these forms, but I'll talk about that. So point-slope form looks like this. So we have y minus y1, and this is equal to m times x minus x1. And in this, m is our slope, so the slope of our line, and the point x1, y1, this is a point that is on that line. The other x and y in this form, these are our two variables that define the line. So these stay as x and y, but to write the equation of the line, we'd plug in our slope, we'd plug in x1, we'd plug in y1, which would be the point somewhere on that line. Now, a similar form, but a little bit different, is slope-intercept. Slope-intercept looks like this. It is y is equal to m times x plus b. And in this case, m here, this is also the slope, but now the point is a little bit different. B is a very specific point on the line. It is the y-intercept. So b is the y value of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. But again, in both cases, we need two pieces of information. We need a slope and we need a point. As long as you know those two things, you can find the equation of the line. So now that we have that, let's do two examples kind of talking through this process. So my first one, write the equation of the line with the slope of 6 through the point 3, negative 4 using point-slope form. And then I want to rewrite it into slope-intercept form. So again, point-slope form, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. The information we are given a slope. The slope is 6, so that is our value for m. And then the point 3, negative 4, that's going to be our x1 and our y1. So x1 is going to be 3, and y1 is going to be negative 4. So then to write the equation of the line, all we have to do is substitute in this information we know. So we have y minus a negative 4 is going to turn into plus 4. Our slope is 6. And then we have x minus x1, so x minus 3. And that actually be it. That is our equation in point-slope form. And that is a perfectly fine way to write the equation of a line. But if I wanted to rewrite this in slope-intercept form, we just have to do a little bit of rearranging. So the big thing with slope-intercept form is the y is all by itself. So let's rewrite this equation by isolating the y. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to distribute the 6. So distributing that, we end up with 6x minus 18. And then to get the y all by itself, we need to just subtract 4 from both sides. So what we end up with, we have y is equal to 6x minus 22. And now because the y is by itself, this is in slope-intercept form. And written like this, I can see that my y-intercept is negative 22. But both forms are perfectly fine ways to write the equation of a line. Let's do one more example where we're going to start off with different given information. So this one says write the equation of the line through the 2 points, negative 2, 0, and 1, 6. So here, I'm given 2 points. So I know 2 points that are on my line, but I don't know a slope. And that's the other thing I need to write the equation. So we should find the slope first. So the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we subtract the y values in the numerator, and we subtract the x values in the denominator. The 2 points that I'm given, these are going to make up my x's and my y's. So maybe this is x1, y1, and then my second point here, I'll say that this is x2 and y2. So plugging that information into the slope formula, we end up with 6 minus 0, the two y values. And then in the denominator, the two x values, we have 1 minus a negative 2, so 1 plus 2. And let's see what we get when we simplify this. So 6 minus 0 and 1 plus 2 is 3. So we end up with a slope of 2. Okay, so now we know our slope. Now we can write the equation of the line. I already talked about how to use point-slope form. So why don't we talk about how to use our slope-intercept form? So to use this form of our equation, I know m, but I don't know my y-intercept. So I actually have to solve for that. I actually have two different x's and y's here. So I just need to pick out one of those to use. So we already know our slope is 2. And then let's just pick out one of these 2 points to use, and then we can find b. So I'm just going to use the first one with the y value of 0, and then the x value of negative 2, and that leaves me with only one variable, so that means I can solve for it. So since b is the only variable in here, we can find out what our y-intercept is. So we have 0 is equal to negative 4, and then adding 4 to both sides, we end up with a y-intercept of 4. So now I know a slope, I know my y-intercept. Plugging that information back into my slope-intercept form, I end up with the equation of the line. So y is equal to 2x plus 4. And there we go. So there's the equation of our line.